Anime. Since the dawn of time, man has been watching anime, Japanese cartoons, basking in the plots and the culture. And as a part of anime, as many of you know, you've got to have a good OP and a good ending song. And teenage me finding anime for the first time and finding out that the songs they used for openings and endings were actual people's actual songs, if that makes sense, was game-changing. This is kind of 2012, 2013 kind of time I'm talking about here. So when I started watching anime, I didn't really know anybody else who did, so I did not have anybody to talk to about this. Hence this video 10 years later, where I'm gonna talk to you about anime today. Side note, do you like my mug? I painted it myself. I tried to make it the ugliest fucking shit I possibly could. Cursed. For these anime, I really wanted to listen to the songs whenever I wanted to. But obviously here in the UK, there was nowhere really at the time to be able to do that. So what I did at the time was, when I found something good, I would find a YouTube video of it and I would put it in a playlist. And here it is. This playlist is like at least 11 years old now. And I would just slap any good anime song, OST, OP ending into this playlist for me to listen to. This playlist is privated on my channel, you can't see it yourselves, but I'm going to show you today. And I'm going to use this to talk through some of the anime and some of my experiences, because I thought that'd just be fun. If you're new here and you've not seen me before, my name's Yvette. I make all sorts of videos about all sorts of shit that I'm in the mood to make. Like this one. If you want to stick around and see some more videos, remember to subscribe so you're notified when I make a new video. But yeah, let's get started. So yeah, here is the playlist. Disclaimer, this is not a complete list of every anime I've watched. This playlist has 10,000 views. 10,000 views, and it's just me. That shows you how much I listen to this playlist. That is crazy. Wow. The first anime I ever watched was actually Attack on Titan. I started watching Attack on Titan when it only had 13 episodes. I must have been about 16, I think. Maybe a bit younger. And I remember watching the first episode of Attack on Titan and being like, I watched it at like 10 PM and it really freaked me out because I didn't know what I was expecting, but it was not that. And here we are, 10 whole fucking years later. But yeah, I've been here since season 1, baby. The first anime I ever watched was Attack on Titan, but the second ever anime I watched was Sword Art Online. And at that time, I loved that shit. To be fair, the OP for the first season of Sword Art Online is still amazing. It still slaps. And I'm surprised on here it only has 4.3 million views. I thought it'd be more than that. Crossing Field by Lisa is still a banger, even if the show has not aged very well in a lot of people's brains. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for it still because it was the second one I ever watched, but there's so many better shows out there. If you've not watched very much anime but you have watched Sword Art Online, please try different ones because female protagonists can still be cool. Maybe it's just because I'm not an isekai person. I just hate the whole like male power fantasy kind of main character. Funny enough, in the dub, Kirito and Eren actually have the same voice actor. Tatakae. Anyway, moving on. And we have some good shit. My favourite anime of all time, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is a fucking masterpiece. And I know that that's a very normie opinion, which I didn't realise at the time when I watched it that it was such a normie opinion to have that as your favourite. But it's just so good. All the characters, the storyline, it sticks with the manga. The complete OST I have listened to more times than I can count. If you've never seen it, watch up to episode 4. If you've watched it, you know what I mean. And it's just crazy, but it's so good. I could do a whole video on Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood on its own. I love it. I've watched it so many times. If you've not seen it, you need to go watch it right now. Literally click off this video and go watch it right now. So here we have the first opening and the second opening, but I think the fourth opening is actually my favourite. The one by, not Sid. The one by Sid. Rain, I think it's called. Oh, that's some good shit. Hugo's creeping in the back. Ooh, Madoka Magica. That is one I have not watched for a long time. Madoka Magica, I don't think I really appreciated it when I first watched it. I must have been about 18 or 19 when I first watched that. But I think if I watched it now, it would be so much better than when I watched it back then. I just realised I'm not really explaining the plot of any of these. I'm just saying, this is good, this is good. Best review, reliable source of me. Very good, very good, very good. Madoka Magica is about magical girls who fight off big monsters and stuff. It's been a long time since I watched it. I can't remember the exact plot of it, except for bits which I'm not going to talk about because it's spoilers. But all I will say is that it takes a really big turn partway through, because when you first start it, it's like, oh, it's magical girls are all wearing really cute dresses and they have magical powers and they go around and like save the day, and then it takes a turn that I was not prepared for. But I think I'd like to watch that again because I've not watched that since I was about 18 or 19, so I'm gonna put that on my list to rewatch, definitely. Madoka Magica. I've got opening 2, but I don't know why I've not got opening 1. It might have got deleted off YouTube. Back in the day when I used to use this playlist quite a lot, copyright daddy YouTube would come down on them pretty hard and they just get deleted out of the playlists. So opening 1 is better than opening 2. High School of the Dead. Many of you have probably seen that really famous shot of someone shooting the bullet out of the gun and like the boobs of the girl like matrix past where the bullets are going, and he's using her boobs as like a rest for the gun and stuff. That's where this is from. Considering it's just like a ecchi harem romance kind of situation set in high school, the plot of High School of the Dead I thought actually wasn't that bad. It's sort of what you expect. They're in a high school, they're trying to survive, there's zombies everywhere, but the plot kind of wasn't bad. I actually really enjoyed it, and the opening for High School of the Dead, this first opening, slaps. Anything with a good OP just kind of worms its way into my heart. That's all you need to do. So if you want something with big titty ladies but also has kind of a good plot, High School of the Dead isn't a bad shout, to be fair. Oh, there you go. There's the opening for Madoka Magica, and it's the full song, apparently. And then we get on to a little bit of controversy. Fairy Tail. A lot of people do not like this show. There's a lot of fan service. People don't really like a lot of the characters. I really like Fairy Tail. Oh no. Fairy Tail is my guilty pleasure show. It's one of the first long-running shows that I watched consistently, sort of from near the beginning right to the end, with something that has, 200 plus episodes. And I just loved it. I loved it. The Grand Magic Games arc is something I watch over and over. When I want something in the background, I'll just put a random bunch of episodes on. I know, I can hear people in the comments. I know it has a lot of flaws and I understand why so many people don't like it, but it is a guilty pleasure for me, and there will be a lot of Fairy Tail on this list, so I'm warning you in advance. We then have the first outro of Sword Art Online again, but a version in Osu. I've always wanted to play Osu. It always just looked really fun, even adding this to my playlist like 9 years ago, whatever it was. I just always thought Osu looked really fun. I just didn't know what it was at the time. We have ending 14 of Fairy Tail. More Fairy Tail. Oh, here we go, Attack on Titan. This isn't my favourite ending of Attack on Titan. I think my favourite ending is the latest one from season 4 part 2. The second one's quite good. I always forget about the second ending. And then we have a cover of the first ending by Sapphire. And then we have, the Ishtar. If you listen to a lot of weeb shit on YouTube, you know who the Ishtar is. Absolutely amazing piano player. And then again, we have the Ishtar doing the main theme for Sword Art Online. The one thing I will say for Sword Art Online is the OST for Sword Art Online is so good. Whatever you think about the plot of the show, the characters, whatever, the music is amazing. We'll get to it more further down in here, I'm sure. But then we have Katawa Shoujo. Now, Katawa Shoujo isn't an anime. It's a visual novel, a spicy visual novel. It's a visual novel about a guy with a heart problem, and he goes to a school for disabled people, and he is able to romance loads of different girls, but they all have different disabilities. So one of them is blind, one of them has skin burns, they're amputees, one of them can't hear. The soundtrack for it is so good. If you've not played it, it's so good. I believe it's free to download. Just Google it, you'll find it. But yeah, this OST, I actually learned to play on the piano back in the day as well. I don't think I could do it now. Then we have Overworld. This is from Bleach. I believe it's the second OP from Bleach. Bleach has so many good openings and endings. There are more in this list, but Bleach is so good. It just has so much filler, which is really frustrating, and I still have not watched the Thousand Year Blood Arc? The new Bleach yet, anyway. I've not watched that yet, but it's definitely on my list to watch. Cowboy Bebop. Do I need to say anything about this? This is actually a cover by Sapphire again. I feel like I don't even need to talk about this because it's Cowboy Bebop and the intro and outro are both absolutely iconic. Oh, here we go. Opening 4, love it. Probably my favourite Fullmetal Alchemist opening. Ranbu no Melody, opening 13 of Bleach, I think is my favourite. It's also one of my favourite parts of the show where they're fighting all the... what are they called? Oh my god, I can't remember the names of anything ever. I'm gonna do a cheeky Google. Espada! That's the word I'm looking for. If you were watching this for the first time as a teenager and you didn't have a crush on Grimjar, I don't know who you are. Oh, it's so good. This is when that intro is playing anyway, that's my point. Bleach has a lot of filler, but it's worth watching because it's still great. We have opening 12 of Fairy Tail. We have, this song by Stereo Pony is one of the outro songs for Bleach. It's really good. I am busy. Oh, No Game No Life. No Game No Life is an isekai, where it's a brother and sister who are big computer nerds that don't leave their house, and they get transported into a different world where they play games. I've not watched it for a while. The intro, this is by Lian Li, who she's gonna appear a lot on this list. It put me off when the brother and sister fell in love at the end. Yeah. Parasite, again by Nate Wants to Battle. If you listen to anime openings, you know who Lian Li is, you know who Nate Wants to Battle is. This opening, I'm sure I must have had the original version in here as well somewhere, but I don't know where it is, but the opening for Parasite, so good. This was the first sort of gory anime I ever watched. Besides Attack on Titan, I guess technically that's a gory anime. Thinking about it. I remember watching this and being like, oh my god, there's blood everywhere, oh Jesus. And again, I don't remember much of the plot for this, but I remember it being really good. It's been a good like 8 years since I watched it. 7-8 years, so a while. And then finally we come to Death Note. Death Note was the third anime I ever watched. So it went Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, Death Note. Death Note is one of the best anime ever made. And if that's another normie opinion, it's a normie opinion for a reason, because it is amazing. If you've not watched Death Note for whatever reason, what? I don't know what you've been doing. Death Note is so good. I rewatched this a couple years ago during lockdown and I was like, this is so good. Every time I rewatch it, I forget how good it is. The storytelling, L versus Light, doing their thing, outsmart each other, being like, oh, you're gonna do this thing. And this one being like, I thought you'd say that, so actually it's this thing. And then this guy's like, I thought you would think I'd think that, so actually it's this thing. And then we come to 7 Deadly Sins. When I first started watching 7 Deadly Sins, I loved the premise of it. I loved the art style of it. I loved the storyline. I thought it was really interesting, not like anything I'd watched before. The intro is amazing. This OP, so good. And then you get to the whole thing of Meliodas constantly groping all the titties and looking up her skirt anytime he gets, and it's just like, oh, you did not need to put this in. I think I've watched 3 seasons of Seven Deadly Sins. I know that season 4 was the one which had that really terrible animation in it. And after I saw that, I was like, I can't. And then you have Ban, and then his fairy waifu. You didn't need to make her look like she was like 13, 12. You didn't. And when I watched this first off, I was like, oh, this cover was so cute. It's my favourite show. And now it's just like, no, I can't. You didn't have to make her look 13, but mate, you did not. Oh, here we go. Naruto. Naruto is a difficult one for me. Even without all the filler, I believe that Naruto and Naruto Shippuden together is about 500 episodes. So it is a big commitment. But the fact that it has that many episodes makes you so invested in what's going on. Naruto, the first part, where you have the tuning exams, you're meeting all the characters, the finding Sasuke arc. I loved that shit when I first watched it. And then you suddenly see them aged up in Shippuden, and you're like, oh my god, this time skip is crazy. Everyone looks really different. I'm really excited to see what everyone looks like. And then the story is, I loved it. It was a wild ride, there were tears, and like I said, when the hard-hitting things hit, and you've been watching so many episodes of it, it just hits so much harder. I recommend watching Naruto. I loved it, and if it wasn't so long, I would re-binge it over and over. And I know that's another normie opinion to like Naruto, but I'm easily pleased. 16 years ago these were added to YouTube. 2007? Then we come to Elfen Lied. Why do I have the ending and not the opening? If you've watched Elfen Lied, you know that the intro for Elfen Lied is iconic. It's that like operatic opening with like inspiration by Gustav Klimt. That's who it is, Gustav Klimt. Super iconic. The ending theme is also very cute, which is why it's in here, but I did not like Elfen Lied. I am somebody who's very easily pleased, and it takes a lot for me to not enjoy an anime or a movie or something like that. I feel like it's very catered towards being edgy for the sake of edgy. I did not understand the appeal of the main character, Lucy. I didn't get why this guy liked her so much, especially, spoiler alert for Elfen Lied. Didn't she kill his parents or something? Or his dad or something? And he just like, I don't care, I still love you. Yeah. I did not enjoy it. It's one of the few anime I've watched which I did not enjoy watching. The whole show felt very fan servicey and very edgy, very gory, lots of boobs, and it wasn't for me. Maid-sama, I still like that, and I feel like I want to watch that again, so I'm actually going to add that to my list as well. Maid-sama is about it's an all-boys school where they start enrolling girls in it as well. She enrolls and she's like, I'm not getting... I am busy talking about weebs. She's someone who's very headstrong, and she's like, I'm not gonna stand for this and be pushed around by the school of boys. And I think she becomes student president, I believe. But then on the side, she's a maid in a cafe, and it's very cute and wholesome, and Usui discovers her secret that she's also a maid, and she's like, please don't let people know, I don't want to ruin my image. And obviously it's a romance, but I remember it being really cute and really enjoying it, so I think I'm gonna have to rewatch that one as well. I have the opening and the ending. Your Lie in April. Okay, if you want to cry, it's a anime about professional piano players, and this girl who plays the violin, and she shows the main guy how to overcome his fears of playing piano and not having to be the best and all these kind of good things. And then it's really sad for reasons I'm not going to spoil. But it's really sweet, really wholesome, and it has really good music in it. So if you want something to cry at, go watch Your Lie in April if you've not seen it already. Oh, Black Butler. Okay. This is something I've not watched for maybe 9 years, maybe. I remember really enjoying season 1 of Black Butler, although I can't remember anything that it's about. Book of Circus, I think that's what the next season's called. I've not watched that, I never watched that one. Season 1 was enough for me. And then we have High School DD. I don't know how to talk about this show. It's a ecchi high school romance, but with demons. This show, when I watched it, opened my eyes to a whole new world of things, of media. It was educational for me at the time, because I'd not seen anything like it. Lots of the tiddy, if you want to partake. Is there 4 seasons of High School DD? Obviously, it's fan service. We're not gonna be around the bush here. And it's very unapologetically in-your-face fan service. But then, I remember one part, I think it's the end of season 4, where it actually gets really wholesome and the plot gets really engaging and like there's actual like character growth. And I was like, remember being like really touched. I was like, oh, my titty anime show has some emotions. I actually really want to watch this again, just because it's so like unapologetically boobalicious, you know? Easy watching in it, no notes. I might have to do another part to this because I'm not even a quarter of the way through this playlist. I'm gonna just finish off with Mystic Messenger. Now, Mystic Messenger, again, should not be on this list because it's not an anime, it's a mobile game. If you're out there and you have played Mystic Messenger, I fucking salute you, my good sirs, because that shit takes up your whole time. If you don't know what Mystic Messenger is, it's basically you find a phone and it takes you to someone's house, but then you suddenly start getting like mystic messages. Roll credits. You start getting weird messages from this random person, you don't know who it is. And then you get introduced to a organization which is full of obviously cute husbandos. And you build relationships with your husbandos by messaging in group chats at different points of the day. In real life, in real times of the day, different group chats will open and you can respond to the messages, and depending on what you choose, it depends on who you're gonna wife in the game. But if you miss one, you either have to pay to go back and unlock it, or you miss out on seeing it completely. And these chats build up the story in the background as well. These chats open at different times of the day. And when I say different times of the day, I mean that they're at 8 AM, they're at 11 AM, they're at 2 PM, they're at 4 PM, at 8 PM, 11 PM, 2 AM, 6 AM. They are 24 hours a day. This is when I was at uni and I was obsessed with this game. I would play this again if it didn't take up so much of my goddamn life. And if you've played Mystic Messenger in the past, please leave your experience in the comments and we can bond together over our shared time lost together. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want this video to get too long, that's all. But if you do want to see part 2, let me know in the comments down below. Like the video. This was really fun. I don't know, it's just fun to talk about. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. I can hear the intro for Mystic Messenger playing in my head. I just received your message. Do 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 do. Oh, hello bud.